Hey, everybody, it's Robert C. Stern with The Social Leader. How is everybody doing on this springtime? Finally, sunlight. Look at this. I can actually see myself. Thanks to my guest, he made me move my computer. So now you can actually see me besides him. So we're doing our Spotlight 20. I take 20 minutes and talk to somebody who is doing incredible things and needs to be known by everybody. Believe it or not, we are crossing the border for this one. We are going up to the Toronto area in Canada for a realtor that is just amazing. I've met him a few weeks ago. He has amazing thoughts, ideas, craziness, and I just don't even want to talk about him anymore on the front because I want to bring him up here because you guys need to see him. Here's Lembros.
Hey, everybody. How are you? Thanks, Rob. You're too kind.
What do you mean? It's all about you.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on here.
Not a problem. Not a problem. So, Lembros, you are up in Toronto area.
Correct.
Obviously, Canada's had similar situations like the rest of the world with everything that's been going on in the world with COVID-19 and economy issues and all these things.
Yeah.
But before we even get into how your business is doing with all that, you're in real estate.
Yes.
How long have you been doing it? What made you get into it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for that. This is my 10th year right now in real estate. And actually, my mom was in real estate back in the late 80s, early 90s. So I always kind of had a real estate background, but I didn't really pursue it. I actually went to university for kinesiology. I was a kinesiologist for a few years, personal trainer, massage therapist, that kind of thing. But that wasn't fulfilling enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a good run, and I had a lot of fun, met a lot of nice people and things like that. But I just needed more, and so I always perceived real estate as a field where it's a service industry where people help someone accomplish their goal, like buy or sell a house, etc. This is how naive I was. I had no idea that the perception of real estate agents in the general public was as, sharks or, salespeople, etc. So the funny thing is when I started taking the courses and then I realized I have to be a salesperson. What's this about? It was just crazy. It just didn't add up to me. Yeah, because I saw my mom as a realtor. She was helping people. We have family friends who are real estate agents, execs. So I always perceived it in a positive light, not anything negative. So I kind of took my approach from healthcare into real estate, saying, I'll provide you with the same level of care as I did, as a massage therapist or what have you. Going into real estate. But I guess people weren't buying it at first, and it was kind of difficult transition from one field into another. But things worked out well. Like I said, this is my 10th year right now, going strong, and every year seems to get better. So who knows?
That's great. Now, do you focus on commercial and residential, or?
I do about 80 to 90% residential, right? I will do some commercial depending on what it is, if I can handle it. If it's something huge like a big industrial complex, that's way beyond my pay grade. So I will refer that to somebody else. But if it's something small, I can definitely handle that. Yeah.
Now, prior to March of 2020, you're going along, you're doing well in business, things are good. The market was actually good for real estate back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was hot. Actually, similar to this year, we had a really good January, February, and first half of March last year, 2020. And then all of a sudden, we hit a wall with COVID-19. Nobody knew what to expect. Real estate just stopped for about 6 weeks until early May. Things weren't moving at all. Sales dropped lower than they've ever been. We had maybe 20% or less of sales from the previous year compared year over year, right? So that it was, nobody knew what to expect, nobody knew what to do. But then as things went on, we kind of realized what COVID was. We knew how to handle it. We wear masks, you sanitize, we eliminated things like open houses and things like that where people would gather. We would just do showings by appointment, stuff like that. So we kind of learned to deal with it, and everyone's learning to deal with it. And the market has flourished ever since. We've had a run of, from I believe July to March, every record months. So the highest July on record, the highest August on record, the highest, keep going all the way to March. Only now, this last April, we kind of saw things slowing down. So
now, is it slowing down in your opinion, obviously, but you also have probably data for your real estate sales and things like that. But from what I'm hearing with down here, I'm in New Jersey, in the United States, it's not that the market is slowed down. It's that there's not enough inventory. So you can't make as many sales as you did last year. So it's if you're a listing agent, you're in the best part of it.
Oh, 100%. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I'm in the office.
262. Mary, call extension 262.
It's okay.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Supply is at an all-time low. So that certainly affects sales. So what I mean by slowing down is even the properties that are on the market right now, they're not getting the same amount of traffic as they were in the previous months.
Interesting.
So, yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you an example. I work out of the GTA. One suburb of the GTA is called Brampton, and it's a very hot area for real estate. It's probably one of the highest in the entire GTA. So, and I had listed a property. I was expecting to get 6 or 7 showings per day, as was usual. We got maybe 1, 2 if we're lucky a day.
Wow.
I was expecting the same amount of offers, maybe 6 to 10 offers. We had 1 offer. So when that happened, this was early April, I knew right then and there that something's changed. The market has shifted somehow. And then when I spoke to other agents in my area, everybody was experiencing the same thing. I went on a few Facebook groups, and the same pattern was happening over and over again. They weren't getting the showings, they weren't getting the offers. So that's what I mean by slowing down. There certainly is a change in the market.
Now, when you spoke in those Facebook groups and those other people, was it everybody like across Canada was in the same situation, or?
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
I know down here it's nuts still.
Yeah, down there maybe it's still different.
Oh my God, I know somebody. I know somebody. One of the clients. She's a realtor in California.
Yeah,
he put a house on Sunday, and it was like 14 offers by Tuesday morning.
100%. No, I agree. The Facebook groups are heavily focused on Canadian and local realtors. So a lot of, like in Toronto and the areas around Toronto, Southern Ontario, all around here, they've experiencing the same thing. But I'm sure down where you are in California, it's a different story. Things are still going hot. Yeah.
So, I mean, have rates changed drastically for you guys, or the mortgage rates, or it's just kind of one of those things we just don't know what's going on?
We don't know what's going on. I mean, depending on the experts who you listen to, they're saying rates are not going to go up until 2023. And then we hear late 2022, right? So who knows? I mean, that's beyond my control. I don't have a crystal ball. There's no way.
Don't we wish we did?
No kidding.
Talk about the number one realtor in, Canada.
Yeah, 100%. Where do I get one of those?
There's multiple offers. What's the one that'll get me? Let me ask my crystal ball.
Exactly. No kidding. Yeah, no.
But so I mean, from your experience, then, where do you see housing in Canada going right now?
Wow. Well, unless the supply changes, unless we drastically get an influx or some kind of increase in supply, I don't think the market's going to change. We're in a seller's market right now, and just to give you some perspective, usually we measure the market in months of inventory. So that means that if no new listings came on the market as of today, how much time would it take for the current inventory to sell out, right? And anywhere between 3 and 4 months is kind of like a balanced market. We've had less than 1 month of inventory since January. We're actually measuring it in days of inventory now, never mind months of inventory, right? So we're at about 21 days of inventory. So in 3 weeks, things would sell out completely.
And I laughed because I was a realtor for 10 years, but prior to starting my social media career in 2010. And I remember 2008.
Okay, yeah, the crash. Yeah.
And our same thing with the whole, how many months of inventory do you have?
Yes.
We had 9 months to a year of inventory.
Oh my goodness.
So when you hear people say,
yeah,
about a month, it's kind of like, whoa, what a difference.
Absolutely, huge difference, huge difference. And so you combine the months of inventory with, or the low supply, you combine that with low interest rates, record low interest rates. It's almost like free money these days. And then you get high immigration. This Toronto area always has an influx of immigrants. Not during COVID, but there is a plan. The federal government has outlined a plan to bring in about just over 4 million people a year for the next 3 years, right? So, so obviously there's going to be a supply issue.
That's at least 1 million houses if you think of like a
Exactly.
couple with a kid or two.
That's right. That's right. And so where are they all going to go? If they're spread across Canada, I'm sure the majority of them will end up in the Toronto area or at least in Ontario, right? So we do have a major supply issue. Condos are now hot again. They were a little bit cool during the whole COVID thing because I guess people didn't want to share elevators, exactly the closeness. But now they're the only thing that's affordable, right?
Yeah.
Prices have skyrocketed. Our average price is well over $1 million, no matter where you go. Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. Well, in US it's probably like I don't know, $15 or something.
No, yeah, I don't think so. No. No, if that was the case, you'd be moving, right?
Yeah, well, exactly. No, I'm exaggerating, obviously, but whatever the rate difference is, yeah, but and still.
With us, obviously, it depends on the area and things like that. Like I know my town in New Jersey, I'd say the average house in my town goes about $700,000.
Yeah, so that's about right. That's about right. Yeah, if we're at 70 cents to $1, that's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I mean the big things they talk about down here, and I don't know if it's the same with you guys up there, is that yes, there's not enough homes for sale, but they are also saying, I think there was an article, I have to find it, about 4 weeks ago, that they said there's about 3.8 million home shortage because new builders slowly stopped building, and now there's just not enough homes.
Yeah. So the COVID thing has hit the new construction quite a bit. They were delayed for months, right? And now there's lumber shortages. The price of lumber has gone up. I'm sure you've heard of that. The price of other materials have gone up. They've skyrocketed, right?
Yep.
So I think that can only lead to higher home prices even more, right?
Yeah.
So
year over year, what have you seen the price increase up by you? Percentage-wise?
Percentage-wise, we're about 33%.
In 1 year?
In 1 year, yeah.
Wow.
We were getting like percentages 5 to 10% per month. Like it was that hot. From December to March, the prices were unbelievably exponentially increasing, right? So it's crazy. I was working with buyers in October, and they decided to take a break, and then they started up again in January, February, and they couldn't get the same thing that they were getting back in October, right? Now they had to lower their sites, right? They were looking at
more money.
Yeah, exactly. Before, back in October, they were looking at a nice detached property with a big lot, maybe a swimming pool, something like that, 4 bedrooms. They had to settle for a townhouse. Like, it's insane. It's insane.
And now, how is that affecting rentals in your area?
The rental prices have actually gone down, believe it or not, because
that's interesting.
It is interesting. Prior to COVID, the landlord was. It was a landlord's market, right? Just like with seller's market, it was a landlord's market. Now it's a tenant's market. So I guess the tenants hold the hammer right now because it's hard. People don't want to move. Tenants, they have it good. They know they don't want to move. Mm-hmm. With the government's involvement as well, they've frozen rent hikes, so nobody can increase rents last year, this year, and I think it's frozen for 22 as well. So people don't want to move. They want to stay put. They want to stay where they are. And if they do move, they see there's a lot of vacancies out there. I think the last time I checked, only about 3 out of 10 units were being rented, right? Mm-hmm. So the tenants really are in control.
That's so interesting.
Forcing the prices down.
Because for us, both have gone up.
Right.
because if
Yeah.
they can't afford a house, they got
They have to rent.
So,
Yeah.
and you got people that sometimes they gotta find a place.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, the thing with us, we had a lot of Airbnb
Okay.
units go on the market, like for sale or for long-term rent, because they eliminated Airbnb. You couldn't do that. So now all of a sudden the supply went up, right? And we had all these available units out there, right? So I think that's part of the issue. Yeah.
Wow. That's. I mean, it just amazes me when you said, like, from month to month, it can go up 5 or 10%. And it's
It was
kind of like,
unbelievable. It was
I mean, you
unbelievable.
walk into a listing appointment and it's
Yeah.
like, listen,
Yeah.
I think you'll get this,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
You might get more.
That's exactly it. That's how it was. So people were pricing them, at what I thought, at least the way I was pricing it was at market value. We would still go higher on offer night, right? So it's just insane, just crazy. And then you when you're on the other side, when you're on the buying side, we saw average 20 offers per house, right? The most I was involved with was 29 offers on a property.
And how quick did those 29 come in from when it went on the market?
I don't remember. It was a few days. It was just a few days, like maybe 4 or 5 days, right?
It's kind of like there's a gate, and as soon as the house goes on the market and it hits the MLS, the gate is lifted, and these
exactly.
Flying out, chopping at the bits.
That's right. Think Black Friday, right? As soon as the
old Black Friday,
exactly, pre-COVID Black Friday, everybody would rush in, right? Stampede, right? So.
And I was hearing some people, sometimes they were making offers on the house and they never even saw it.
Yeah. Actually, I had a few of those back in early COVID in April when things were really, nobody knew what was going on. I sold 2 condos without the person even looking at them, right?
I'm just using common sense. How do you buy a property? I mean, this is like your biggest financial buy of your life, whether it's your first one, your second one. These are huge amounts of money you're laying down, whether it's mortgage or cash.
Yeah.
And you buy it unseen?
It was happening. No,
but I'm saying, could you do that?
I couldn't do that. Personally, I couldn't do it. But I think because it was a condominium, and the person buying it, I think, was familiar with the building, so they kind of knew the place. So they were comfortable buying it unseen. And what's the worst that could happen, right? It's dirty or whatever. You fix it up, renovate it, big deal, right? A house would be a little bit different story, right? Because you really have to go in there and see it and taste it and smell it and whatever, right? So, condos a little bit different, yeah.
With the way, how are they predicting the market for the rest of the year? Is it going to be similar to what you now, or do you think it's going to go up in your area? And just so everybody knows, we're talking, every time Lambo says GTA, we're talking about the Greater Toronto area.
Yep.
Just in case you didn't know what GTA was.
No problem. Let me pull out my crystal ball again, and I'll tell you what's going to happen.
But I mean, are they forecasting that prices still going up, or they think it'll kind of be stagnant?
I think, as I mentioned, April and May have been slower than what we saw from January to March. I think it'll continue at this pace. We have a new stress test coming in a couple of weeks, June 1st. Just to explain what that is, basically, whatever interest rate you're going to get from the bank, they have to test you at a higher interest rate, so 2 points higher. So if you're getting 1.79, they got to test you at 3.79, or what the lowest default rate would be 4.79. So everybody is being tested at 3 points higher. Yeah. So this is to kind of calm down the demand, right? But anyway, that's a
But if you need a house, you need a house. The demand.
Well, that's just it. I think their focus is in the wrong spot. I think they should focus on supply and bring up supply. But just to get back to the stress test, and that was only for people putting less than 20% down, which is understandable. Okay, if you only have 20% or less to put on a house, maybe you're going to run into financial issues later on. But now they're applying this to people putting more than 20% down. And not only that, they've increased it from 4.79 to 5.25 or something like that. So now, even if I have 30 or 40% to put in, I still have to stress test me at 5.25, which reduces my buying power, right?
Right.
So that has a lot of people thinking that, okay, maybe this will affect prices. Maybe I'll wait until it comes in, right? So it's like speculating, right? Like the stock market, right? As soon as they hear something, they take a step back. I think this is part of the reason why we've seen a slowdown in the market. So I think that's going to continue. And then as soon as people realize that, prices aren't coming down, right? They just can't, they just won't because of the supply, right? Maybe 3-4 months, then we'll see an uptick again in sales and showings. And so I'm predicting, my own prediction is by September, October, I think the market will start picking up again. So, yeah.
Toronto, you heard it here first. No. The Lambert prediction.
You can hold me to that.
It's on recording.
It's on recording. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure.
So is there a big market? Just last question. A big market in the Toronto area for like vacation or second homes?
Yeah, that huge. That has taken off like gangbusters since COVID because people don't want to travel. So now vacation properties have skyrocketed. I mean, I don't deal in that market, but I have friends up there in the up north and in cottage country, where I keep hearing how they have bidding wars. They got the same thing happening, like 20 offers on a cottage. Prices have gone through the roof, right? So if anybody wanted to buy a cottage and they haven't yet, they're SOL, I think, right now.
Oh, really? They'll start building that log cabin.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to buy a swamp or something and just build something for yourself.
Well, the best place they can get a hold of you, obviously, is your website, correct? And
go to my website, demosrealestate.ca. I've got all my contact information there. But really, I mean, I'm old-fashioned. I love a phone call. Just give me a call. We'll chat. No problem. Send me a text or whatever. Or you can find me on social media too. All my social media links are through my website. So Facebook, Instagram. I have a YouTube channel as well. So they're all there. Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for joining me today.
No problem. It was a pleasure. Thanks, Rob, for having me.
And for everybody else, we'll do our next Spotlight 20 real soon. So stay tuned, and I will talk to you all real soon.